and mutes herself, tell me to press record. All right, you guys. Happy August 5th. It's the first Monday of August, right? How awesome is that? So like new month, new goals, new opportunities for you to go after those goals that maybe you didn't hit last month, or maybe you hit your goals last month and you're ready to like 10x what you did last month and make this month your best month yet. So I'm really excited for this call. We just have a few announcements, and I'm going to run through them real quick, and then I'll hand it over to Jess. So I just want to welcome our newest coaches on Team Florida Fit, as well as the Joy Dynasty, Alyssa Carlson, Carlos Saltzman. Sorry if I botch your names, you guys. I'm awful with like pronunciation, so just sorry about that in advance. Courtney Wren, Hannah Almar, I'm not going to even try and say that, and then Sean Sexton. Welcome to our teams. We're so excited to have you here. And by the way, I like never do this, but I'm Jessie, for those of you who don't know. I'm success partners with Jess. So if you don't know who I am, just wanted to put that out there. And if you don't know who she is, you'll learn. So big announcements just to kind of give you guys a heads up. If you're an active coach, which I'm assuming that all of you who are on this call are probably active coaches, maybe you're brand new, maybe you've been around for a while, you got promo codes again this month, you guys. If you didn't take advantage of the promo codes last month, that was something new that they tried. Basically, you got an email with 3 promo codes. If you didn't get one and you're an active coach, make sure you reach out to Coach Relations, okay, and let them know that you didn't get your email. But basically, you have 3 promo codes to hand out to your friends and your family who are interested in joining you to get $10 off of our current challenge packs. So why not, you guys? Like Morning Meltdowns promotions are extended, so they're still $20 off. So that's actually $30 off that you're giving your friends, your family, the people who are interested in joining your boot camps or challenge groups or whatever you guys call them. So make sure that you're using those, that you're talking about those codes, that you are telling people about them. If you didn't watch last week's National Wake Up Call with Miguel, he talked all about the promo codes. So go back and listen to that if you need kind of a refresher on like how they work and how you can use them to your advantage. But make sure that you're using them. If you don't, send them my way. I will totally use them, right? No, but really, go use them, okay? Don't let them go to waste. So Morning Meltdown is extended. The August promotion is still the $20 off. I wanted to make sure that this is clear. It's not $20 off of the price from last month, okay? It's $20 off of the original challenge pack price. So I want to make sure that that is clear. I've had a few coaches be like, wait, so it's an extra $20 off of like the promo price from last month? Like, no, that was the promo price. It's just extended into this month. So you have more of an opportunity to help more people with getting set up with Morning Meltdown. And speaking of Morning Meltdown, you guys, I know it's kind of cheesy, but you can get a bobblehead of Jericho if you hit Success Club. So they're doing a little different. And I want to make sure that you guys know this. So if you've never hit Success Club, if you're a brand new coach and you have never once hit Success Club, which means you've helped at least 3 people during the month. If you do that this month, you get a bobblehead of Jericho. If you have hit Success Club in the past, okay, in order to receive this bobblehead, you have to have at least Success Club 10, which means you helped 5 people. So I've hit Success Club, Jess has hit Success Club, I know a lot of you have, so you have to push for 10 to earn this bobblehead. I actually have I have all of the trainers besides, I think the only one I don't have is Shanti, and my Sagi one broke. Its legs fell off, so I don't have Sagi anymore, but that's okay. I have all of mine like up here in the corner. I know it's kind of cheesy, you guys, but I see them watching me during my workout, and it makes me push harder. So get the bobblehead, okay? So wanted to shout out, this is my team's leaderboard. I know Jess is still making hers. So just wanted to shout out my girls who hit Success Club last month: Ashley, Amanda, Jillian, Adrian, Jess, Natalie, Erin, Tyler, my husband, aka me, and Jake, Ashley's husband, aka Ashley, right? So wanting to shout out those girls who hit Success Club last month in July, and then all of these women who had their points on the board, wanted to shout them out. And then this is a Choose Joy coach, Brittany, who y'all, she went freaking diamond last week, right, Jess? Last week? Yeah, or this week, last week. She went diamond. She's in the diamond dash that some of our girls are currently in. So she's going to win a pot of that cash pot, which is freaking amazing, you guys. And I know that Jess is proud. I'm proud. I don't even know Brittany. But Brittany, I am proud of you, girlfriend, because that's amazing. So you guys shout her out, give her like a congratulations in the chat box because she is crushing it. And then we just have a few other team shout outs that we want to just kind of recognize. We have a few other girls that are in that Diamond Dash that are just crushing it. I know Natalie has signed up. This is just a fun fact. I don't even know if Natalie's on here, but Natalie didn't want to do the Diamond Dash. The only reason she did it is she wanted me to shut up about it. So she just signed up, and you guys, guess what? She went from 2 coaches. Now she has, I believe, 6 on her team, which is incredible. So she only needs 2 more coaches, and then 2 of those people will have to pop Emerald, which is totally doable. And I'm just so proud of her. I know Ashley, who's already a diamond, is about to lock in the cash pot for the side bet. So I want to shout her out. And then Jess told me that, is it Vani? I don't know how to pronounce that. Vani? Bonnie and Jeffrey are like super, super close to hitting diamond as well. They're all in the Diamond Dash, so they all have an opportunity to earn some cash out of that cash pot. And there's a lot of other girls and men that are in that group. But these are the people that we've noticed have kind of stepped outside their comfort zones and really challenged themselves and took advantage of that group. If you're in that group, you guys, and maybe you haven't really dove into it, go dive into it. It's not too late to go after diamond. I mean, Brittany hit it in the first week of the diamond bet, so it's totally, totally doable. And then we also want to shout out Danielle, who became a Insanity. Is it Insanity, Jess? Certified instructor.
Transform live instructor.
Yeah, so she's going to teach Transform 20 live, you guys. If you didn't know that, you actually can become certified in a lot of our platforms. Insanity, Transform 20, Size, Country Heats, P90X. There's a few different platforms that you can actually get certified in to teach class. And Danielle took that step and is now going to be able to teach class with Transform 20. And then
Hey, Jess. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, I have to give Courtney a huge shout out because not only is Brittany her PS coach, so is Danielle. And she literally just had a baby like less than 24 hours ago, and she's on the call. She's on the call. So,
congratulations,
go, girl.
Courtney.
And congratulations for baby Leaf.
Y'all are getting lots of babies over there, huh?
Lots of mini coaches.
Claire and Courtney, coaches in the making. Okay, so I wanted to really quickly shout out my team, who, you guys, we were in the last week of qualifying for 3-star. I also want to shout out Kim and Natasha and all the women on our teams who are making this possible. The Emeralds, the active coaches, the discount coaches, like all of you matter. So I just wanted to shout you guys out. Hopefully, if I figured it all out right, we will be waking up on Thursday as a 3-star diamond team, which I'm super excited about. So keep us in your prayers, okay? So I'm going to hand it over to Jess so she can introduce our speaker.
Awesome. Okay, so you guys know we have Jillian on tonight. And by the way, I just want to say, guys, Jess, guys, your team, I'm so incredibly just inspired by you. So getting that 3-star and everything this week, make sure everybody triple checks their downlines, do all that. It is so worth it. But I am going to shout you guys out. And I'm like, is it Thursday yet? Is it Thursday yet? I'm just so excited. Okay. So now you guys know that Jillian is joining us tonight. We're so honored to have her here. I think if you guys, back when we were TFE, we had her come on a call once and it was just awesome. But I just wanted to have her come because not only, if you guys probably may have remembered her story, she is actually a trauma survivor. So she's been through a lot. She was on a Super Saturday video a while back too. She's been through a lot. She's a mom. She also has been a coach for 5 years, is a 5-star diamond coach, two-time elite. She has never missed Success Club. So from the day she started, she's always hit Success Club. And she has a background in engineering, and she actually works full-time at Dell as a product marketing manager for 5G solutions. So a girlfriend is busy. I know it's like a swear word, busy or whatever, but she has figured out how to do this coach thing. Obviously, as a current elite and two-time elite coach, has figured out how to do it successfully while still doing an amazing job at her corporate position, and also making time for the most important job, which is being a parent. And so we're just so honored to hear from her tonight. Take a lot of notes. She said she's going to give us her checklist of what she does each day, like what she's going to go through. And so I know sometimes it might feel like, and I'm going to shut up in just a second, but I know sometimes it might feel hard to feel like, you're torn in a couple different directions in your life, right? And I think the key that Jillian is going to teach us tonight, some of the key is just understanding that you have to be good at time management, and knowing that when you're present in one area, you're focused on that area. Okay. And so let's just learn a whole heck of a lot more than that from her tonight. And thank you so much, Jillian, for being on with us, and go ahead and just take it from there.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. I am a corporate girl, so I'm gonna share my screen because I do a lot of PowerPoint. So I'm gonna talk about how to be an all-in part-time coach. And in transparency, most coaches are part-time coaches. Very few people actually work 40 plus hours a week on this business. I am one of them. I have a corporate job. So my background is in engineering, and now I'm a product marketing manager at Dell. And I will tell you that I have made a decision to stay at my corporate job. I like what I do. I'm a total nerd. It fulfills me in a different way than Beachbody fulfills me. But if you are like, I want to be a full-time Beachbody coach, I don't like my job, there's not another job I want to do out there besides Beachbody, then that's okay too. I don't want you to feel like, oh, well, I have to stay in my job. Like, your goals are your goals. And just like for me, I didn't feel like, oh, I have to quit my corporate job to be successful at Beachbody, right? Like, there were definitely people that said like, well, if you see success with Beachbody, it's definitely when you quit your job and you can do this full time. And to me, that wasn't success. And instead of listening to them, I followed my own heart, and this is what I decided to do. But like I said, if you guys feel like, you know what, my goal is to quit my job, then do that as well. I'm also going to preface this with telling you, I am not smart. Like, I am not book smart. I am not, I'm someone that's always had to work really, really, really hard. And if you haven't read the book Grit, I'm obsessed with it. I'm reading it the second time through. I highly recommend it because it really talks about how much better off you are to be a hard worker than to be someone who's book smart, right? Like, how much more effective you are. So I think that's really important as well, is to realize, like, even if you're like, oh, well, she or he is smarter than me and that's why they can do both these things, that's not the case. They're probably not smarter than you, but additionally, you can be grittier and you can do this work and you can make it happen for you. So that's where I'm going to start, is just by saying, if you want to quit your job, and that's your goal, and that's cool. If you don't want to quit your job and you just love this business and you want to create a nice part-time income, then do that as well. I will share with you guys that I had a baby in September 2017, the very end of September. I went back to work in December 2017, about 3 months after she was born. And about 3 weeks after I got back to work, I worked not for Dell, I got laid off. And that was crazy for me, right? Because I just had a baby. I'd been with the company 13 years. It was a very large company, a Fortune 10 company. And I had a baby, and then I had no job. And we had already committed to daycare. And many of you guys who are moms might know that it's really hard to pull out of daycare. It's also really hard to find a spot again and get on wait lists and all that. So we made the decision to keep her in daycare part-time. I got to spend some more time with her, so it ended up being a blessing for us. At the time, it felt horrible, right? I'm going through postpartum emotions, and then I'm basically being told by my employer, you can't be a good mom and be effective at work. That's not what they said, but that's how it felt to me. And it was really depressing, and it was a dark time for me, and emotionally it was really hard. But I will tell you, financially, it was not hard because I had this plan B for us. And that was really important for me, that I didn't have to worry about income. Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of income, but I didn't have to worry about it because I had this money coming in, and I could take my time and find a job I really wanted. And I took about 5 months, and I found this job at Dell. And I'll tell you, I'm making way more money than when I left. I was at Verizon. When I left Verizon, I'm 1,000 times happier. I was able to be really picky about what I did. And I've been insanely successful at Dell. And I think a lot of that has to do with my positive attitude I've learned from Beachbody. All of the social media writing I do has been taken note of by a lot of people. Are like, wow, you can really write for social. Where'd you learn that? Beachbody. All of like my I guess my dealings with people and just being really kind. You can get more bees with honey. I learned that all from Beachbody and the teamwork. So I will tell you that while I've been able to balance both, I also think that Beachbody has skyrocketed my career. I didn't have Beachbody when I started at Verizon. I certainly took it on towards the end of my career at Verizon, but I sort of already had that reputation, right, as like a girl coming out of college and not really knowing what she was doing. And women in technology is a hard place to be anyway. And starting this job, I was really able to bloom and use all the skills that I learned at Beachbody to help my career explode. So I wanted to share that as well. So now I'm going to get into the meat of it. Sorry, guys. My PowerPoint is not that cute. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about my part-time power hour, and I'm more than happy, Jess, you're both Jess, to share these slides with you after, so you guys don't have to take crazy notes if you're feeling like, oh my God, this is a lot of stuff. So this is what I do every single week. I have the right mindset and the right intentions to help as many people as possible. That's just how I go into my week. That's how I think I'm going to work my week. I send out a newsletter every Friday. Guys, I'm insanely lazy. The nice way to put it is efficient. Okay. So I usually go on the Beachbody blog and I find a topic that they're writing about, and I'll change it up and send it out in my newsletter. You're allowed to do that. I'm not selling anything. I'm not monetizing anything. I'm simply just going into my back office, clicking to send an email, and using some topic that I find on the blog that I feel like I can write about and add some content to as well. I use that same Fit Tip Friday newsletter in a blog post for myself. Okay, so I'm repurposing, right? I do an Instagram live every week. I do a Facebook live every week. And the number one thing that I do is I don't come up with excuses and I don't complain. People don't hit every single goal they set for themselves. And if they do, you're not setting enough goals, or you're not setting high enough goals. So when I don't hit a goal, which happens a lot, okay, we always talk about all the goals we do hit and we celebrate those, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't know about, that people aren't hitting goals that they wanted to hit. It happens all the time. We talk about it on the leaders boards, right? Like someone fell out of qualification the last week because they missed like 20 PV or something crazy like that, right? So that people aren't hitting goals all the time, but you got to own that stuff, right? You can't be like, oh, I didn't hit that goal because my dog pooped on my carpet on Wednesday and I didn't have time to check my back office. Maybe your dog did poop on your carpet on Wednesday, but that's not the reason you didn't hit the goal. You got to own that so that you can figure out what you need to do better next time to hit that goal. So that's kind of what I do on a weekly basis. Every single day, I add 3 to 5 new people to my network. My main platforms are Instagram and Facebook, so that's where I focus on that, but you can use whatever you want. And transparently, I still think Facebook's my number one platform. I return all of my messages. I do 1 to 2 Facebook posts a day, and my goal is really to breadcrumb more this year, and that's what I've been working on, more about coaching especially. I invite 2 to 3 people a day to my next group, and I always have something to invite to. I'll share with you about that on the next screen. I follow up. I start to forum with people that are interested or show interest on my posts. I post on my team page, usually share something that I think is good or will help them get ideas in their head. I go for 10 Instagram and Facebook stories a day, being that I work. I take a lot of pictures and then I'll kind of upload them when I have pockets, but I can't do a lot during the day because I'm at work. So, on lunch or before work, I always include my video for before work, and I try to do like a call to action after work. And lunch, it's like, okay, well, what's on my phone that I can kind of upload and share with people? And this is what I focus on every single day. I do this every day, literally 7 days a week, you guys. This is what works for me. I only put in about an hour a day, probably about 10 hours a week. So I do a little bit more work on the weekend. So I'll like write my newsletter, write a blog post or something like that. I'll put in like 2 to 3 hours. Whereas during the week, it's really literally an hour a day. And I work on me every single day. Sorry, my A key is being crazy. I lead by example. I drink my Shakeology. I take my Energize. I work on my business, right? Like this is how I do my power hour every day. And this is literally an hour or less. Okay, so this is a really old calendar, like super old, but I like it because it's cute, and I don't make them this cute anymore because I'm not talented when it comes to this stuff. So we'll talk about outsourcing later, but basically I make sure that every single week I have something starting that I'm inviting to. So when I was a new coach, I remember in my big coach group, I'd see like this group and that group and this group and that group, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on, and I don't know what to invite to. And I felt really, really overwhelmed, which just consumed me and really made it hard for me to manage my time. So how I structure my month is the first Monday of every month, I have a free group. So I have an ongoing free group. And the first Monday of every month, I run a challenge. Today, I started a walk and water challenge. You walk 10,000 steps, you drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Super, super, super simple. If I see someone talking about a challenge that I like, and I'm like, oh, it's not in my calendar this month, I'll put it in my calendar next month, and I'll reach out and be like, hey, Marianne, like, or whatever their name is, love to see the outline for your challenge. I can exchange this other outline that I have for my challenge. And I'll just kind of take their content and give them my content and work together. A lot of the coaches will give you their content, you guys, but people are very, very, very sharing. So if you see that stuff and you're like really interested in doing that, then keep that in mind. Then the second week of the month, I started challenge groups. So this has changed a little bit because now we have VOD, so everyone has access to all the same programs instead of having to buy DVDs. But what I do is basically look at who's participating in my free group, and then I can start to invite them to my challenge group, right? So I have an ongoing challenge group, and I kind of start a new challenge the second Monday of the month. Now, it was a little bit skewed in July because the Morning Meltdown didn't launch till the 29th. So I definitely switch it up as programs launch and as I have to. But this is how I structure my month for the most part. And then the last week of the month, I'm looking at who's active in my challenge group, and I'm going to invite them to a free sneak peek into coaching. Sometimes I do a call. Sometimes I do a group. I tried an Instagram sneak peek, kind of just see what's working for me. And then I'm going to try to convert the people that I feel like are good challengers into coaches. So this allows me to focus my posts, right? So the week leading up to my free group, I'm going to be talking about that, not a call to action every day, maybe 1 or 2 calls to action, but I'm going to be talking about that. And then it's going to start. And then I'm going to talk about my challenge group and maybe do 1 or 2 calls to action, probably more in my stories. And then it's going to start. And then I'm going to start talking about coaching and do a call to action or 2, and then talk about it in my stories. And then it's going to start. And then the month is going to start over. And you guys are probably thinking to yourself like, oh, this is really boring, Jillian. But this kind of work is what's going to get you results when you're short on time, which we all are short on time. Like I said, I understand that not everyone has a corporate job, but everyone has some other job. They're a mom, they're a dad, they're a dog parent, they have to care for their elderly parents, whatever. Even if you're not working corporate America, you probably do something else in your life that's important to you besides Beachbody. So all of these tips are helpful for time management. Okay, so I talked a lot about inviting, right? Like inviting to my next groups. That's pretty much all I talked about, is really inviting people to join you. So how to invite. just talk to them, guys. Like, just have a conversation. If you're struggling with like what to say next, I'm sure your coach or your coach's coach, send it to them. Or like, if you're in a success pod, be like, hey, like I'm talking to this customer and this was the objection they just gave me, or this is what they said to me. Where would you go next? Have a conversation about that, right? So compliment, comment, question, like, hey, Betsy, I love that blue dress. It looks so great on you. Where did you get it? Something like that will work really, really well. More personal questions. Have you considered? Use their name. I know that sounds really obvious, but hun and babe, unless you're like having a long conversation with them, but if it's your first reach out, take 5 seconds and figure out what their name is and include that in your message to them. Here are different questions you can use. Would you rather? Have you tried? Just have a conversation and open it up. And what's really important about this is that you're inviting people that you want to talk to. And you might be like, of course, I'm inviting people I want to talk to. But seriously, if you're just talking to people to grow a business, you're going to be really disappointed if they don't join you. Whereas for me, like, if I'm talking to someone and I want to talk to them because I like them and they don't join, I still made a friend, like it's really still okay for my mindset to be working with these people. So, and probably eventually they will join you, but even if they don't, who cares? Because you're enjoying the conversation, right? So that's really important as well to keep the joy in the business. So here's some post planning. This is like super old, but if you're feeling like, I don't know what to post, here's some ideas for you. Find your best times, your most engaging times. I tend to do best in the evening, like Sunday to Thursday evenings. And I know Friday and Saturday are a little spotty for me. So just keep that in mind. Here's the stories planner, right? So things you can post about in your stories. Pretty much everyone, when we started stories, was like, I'm so boring. Who the heck wants to come to my stories? Like, everyone said that. I shouldn't say no one. Maybe some people think they're super interesting and everyone want to see their stories. But I have to tell you, I heard 9 out of 10 coaches being like, this stories thing is silly. And I don't know if you ever heard Christina Delgado talk about it, but she'll tell you when people first started talking about it, she was like, I am not doing that. That is crazy. No one wants to see what I'm doing all day, every day. And now she does it because people do want to see what you're doing and they want to see that you're real and they don't just want to see your airbrush pictures. And there's nothing wrong with a nice airbrush picture or filtered picture. They're great, but they also want to see the behind the scenes, right? They want to know what's really going on. So here's some things you can post about in your stories. There's more than 10 here. I aim for 10 stories a day. All right. Here are my top 5 type management tips. Have a plan and stick to it. So that's why I have my calendar. It allows me to know what I'm inviting to, what I'm talking about, right? Like I said, I have to adjust it sometimes based on the launch calendars and stuff like that, but I know what I'm doing all the time. So I'm not sitting around wasting time thinking about, oh, what am I going to post about? Oh, do I need to put a group together? And if I have spare moments, I can do some work on something that's coming up because I know things are coming up, right? I do it every day, every day, every day, every day. And let me tell you, when you don't do it every day, and I bet you a lot of your friends and family felt this way when you joined, they were probably like, oh, there she goes, or there he goes, trying some other health and fitness thing. It's probably not going to work for them, right? But when you show up every day, you're proving them wrong. And I will tell you, it's really, really, really hard. I don't know if you guys have ever fallen off or kind of stopped the business for a little bit and tried to come back. It's even harder to do that than it is to start initially because you've got to then reprove, you did it once, you proved to them you were going to stick with it. And then you stopped and now they're like, oh, well, she or he did what we thought they were going to do. And now you've got to prove that it's going to work the second or third time that you do it. So don't do that to yourself. It's a lot harder. And for those of you that have done that and come back from it, kudos, because it's really hard. It's really, really hard to do that. So I recommend that you really try to be consistent with it. Consistency is truly the key. Even though it seems boring, this boring stuff gets you the success you're looking for. Put the necessary before the fun. So if you love, I don't know, doing stories, then make sure that and you hate inviting, make sure you invite before you do stories. I hate answering my DMs on Instagram. I don't know why. I find Instagram DMs super awkward. And I will literally go in my coach group, and I know there are some ladies from my team on here tonight, and I'll be like, all right, I'm going in, I'm doing my DMs. And then, 10 minutes later when I'm done, I'll post back and be like, okay, done. Because I need that level of accountability sometimes. So if you need that, then just do it. Outsource your time consuming tasks or stuff you're just not good at. I am terrible with flyers. So Jen Richardson is in like my upline. She's not my upline, but she's in my upline. And her flyers are amazing. She was a graphic designer. They always look professional. Guys, I tried for a real long time, and I was spending like 4, 5, 6 hours doing a flyer that looked like my dog put it together. And I'm not exaggerating. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is ridiculous. So I stopped. I essentially was like, I'm not doing this. You can use a service called Fiverr, Fiverr. It's $5 to get stuff like that done. There's also one called Upwork, which tends to be a little bit more expensive and also like for bigger projects. But seriously, like try that stuff out. So what I used to do actually is I used to have my videos transcribed, and then I would turn that into a blog post, and you can do that on Fiverr for like $5. So not big investment things. But small investments. And just so you guys know, I don't have an assistant. I don't have any bots. I don't have any of that stuff. I do all this work myself. And if you do have assistants or you use services, there's nothing wrong with that. But this everyday stuff is some stuff I do, as me. Take your hardships and turn them into success. So if you guys have seen the Super Saturday video, it aired this January. It was about a trauma that I had. And I really took what happened to me, and I shared it for myself selfishly. Like I needed to share what was going on with me, and it helped me overcome what I was feeling. But it also, I got so many messages from people like, oh my God, like I had a trauma or this happened to me or whatever. And because of your story, I got up and did XYZ today. And I can't tell you like how good that feels, to have someone tell you they did something because you shared your journey and it helped them feel better or do something better for themselves because of that. So maybe your story isn't as crazy as mine. And I will tell you, I was a coach for 2 years before I had the accident. So, sorry. So, there was, and I was just a regular, I wasn't a mom at the time. I was just a corporate girl. That's all I was. But I loved this business, and I lost a ton of weight, and I had finally, overcome my binge eating and diet pill addiction and all this stuff that I had battled my whole life. And that's what I shared. And then stories change, right? So I bet you're going through something that either you're sharing or you're not, but I encourage you to kind of dig deep and share. And I'm not talking about like word vomited everywhere, but just start to share small pieces of it. The last piece of advice, I don't know if you guys listened to the wake up call last week. I finally listened to it this morning my goal is to always listen to it before the new one comes out. So I listened to it this morning while I was walking my dog, and Miguel touched on it. He was like, when your spouse comes in and you're just scrolling and you're like, I'm working, leave me alone. Like, guys, you're not working. Like, if you need to be inspired, go read some personal development. Seriously. Like, don't scroll on Facebook and think you're going to get some like amazing idea that, you're not, because the people who are posting aren't you, right? And not to say you can't be inspired by what someone posts, but the reality is you're probably going to find more inspiration from a book than you are from, someone's story on Facebook. So make sure that when you say you're working, you're actually working and doing the vital behaviors and doing the tasks at hand. And then the last thing I'm going to do is tell you, don't be inspired. Don't be inspired by me. I'm not inspiring. I'm like a super regular, real boring, not that smart girl that just decided to take action. So I'm going to encourage you to take action. So what does your calendar look like this month or next month? But we're at the beginning of August, so really this month you need to figure out what your calendar look like. What are you going to be inviting to? And then you need to start reaching out to people. They, at the very beginning of this call, just talked about the promo codes. And Miguel talked about on the National Wake Up Call, like literally scripts on how to follow up with people, how to invite people with them. It's a great thing to make sure that you're taking action on. Jericho's next group starts, I think, September 2nd. So you can be inviting people to join you in the next month for that as well. So that's all I have. I will stop sharing. I'm more than happy to take questions. I see the little chat thing going, but I didn't check it. So I don't know if there are
All
questions.
right, guys. No, that's awesome. Do you guys, first off, thank you. Like, thanks for taking out the guesswork. Sometimes like you just try to put the pieces together, and you just like laid it out so beautifully for us just to be like, okay, this is what she does. Like, this is, I think, like the number one thing that you showed us is that you're super, super consistent. And honestly, like, people can have like, I think it was Melanie Mitro at Summit, not this year, but the year before. And she just said, guys, like, I didn't really do anything special. I just outworked the talent. And it really comes down to, so many times in this business, it just really comes down to who's willing to do the work. And with the time that you have, like, I built my business doing maybe more than an hour a day, but usually just an hour a day, working 50 hours a week outside the home. You guys have heard that story, and I still built my business to completely replace that job because that's what I wanted, And so it really has to do so much more with what you do with your time. And I think a lot of times, going off of what you said about what Miguel said too, is I think a lot of times people think that they're working, and really they're just like looking at everybody else's stories, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I did a whole lot of nothing today.
Yeah, I want to add to that really quick. You guys, I can see when you watch my stories. So if you sit there and tell me that you don't have time to invite, and then I see you at the top of my Instagram stories, I'm going to call you out and say, well, did you invite today because you've been watching me for the last 20 minutes? Like, don't and I know this sounds silly, but like, there are some coaches that I love to go and watch their stories, but I've made myself do inviting, because that's like, I actually love inviting, but like, it's the one thing that like tends to get put to the back burner. So I've told myself for the last like 7 months, like, I'm not allowed to go watch anyone else's stories until I send out 30 invites, or however many invites you do a day, right? Like, that is my goal. That is something that I've been doing. And guess what, guys? It's working, because my inviting is not being pushed off, because then I don't have time, even though I like sat there for 30 minutes listening to so-and-so's life about her dog, story about her dog, whatever. Like, if you're watching my stories, I can see it. And I know Jess has the same, like, Ashley has people that watch, you guys watch us, which is totally fine. Like, I don't want to discourage you from watching other coaches, but then you can't say that you don't have time to invite, that you don't have time to check your back office, that you don't have time to do the things that are going to move your businesses forward when you're sitting there creeping on me, right? Like, no, stop creeping and go do your work.
Yeah, no, for real though. I mean, truly, it really is so true. And so I love that you said that, Jess. I think too, it just comes down to, a lot of times it just comes down to like working with a purpose. Like, I loved like your daily tasks, because, and even like, in our groups, like in our team pages, we give overall calendars. But you guys, this is your business, right? Like, this is my business, is my business. Your business is your business. And if it helps you to have like a certain focus each week, like it does for Jillian, like, create that. There's no reason why you can't create that. And so I love that you always have like a specific purpose for each week and how you focus on that. It's kind of like when you see, like, we have a sneak peek coming up on Saturday, like a call this week. So my main focus this week is more focused on inviting to that sneak peek versus like MM100. You know what I mean? So that you're not like, okay, what do I do? Because a lot of people just sit down and then they're like, okay, I have time to work. I don't know what to do. You know, so you got to kind of make a plan of action before you just get in that spot and you're like, okay, I have an hour. I'll watch stories. So yeah, so I love that. Do you guys have any questions for her at all? Any questions for how she breaks stuff down, guys? Who here, and I know we can't see like the majority of your guys' videos, so if you can turn them on, I love seeing people's faces when we do calls, but I totally understand that sometimes we can't do that. But yes, thank you. Who here works, can I ask, like who here works outside the home or has kids home with them full time? Okay, I shouldn't raise my hand. Okay. Awesome. I was like doing that. I don't know why. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And so I really hope that this gives a lot of excitement and hope.
You're not going to sleep yet.
Sorry, guys.
Can I say it so?
Yes. Yes. So, okay, cool. She's even raising her hand in the chat. Love it. So that's a lot of people. And so I really hope that this inspires you. I remember too, and Jillian, I don't know if you know Sarah Gobb, but Sarah did a really, really good job at showing me, like back in the day. I remember she was nursing full time and doing all this. And I remember her being like, a power hour a day is a joke. I can do anything in a power hour checklist. I can do it in 30 minutes. I just have it focused. And I was like, and that was the way that she worked, because she knew that every second mattered. And so it just, you know, it was just worked for her to do it fast. And I'm not saying do it in 30 minutes, by the way. I'm just saying that a lot of things can happen when we focus. And if anything, I'm like preaching to myself, because I'm like the #1 space cadet. So, and I know that, you know, we all have areas that we need to work on, and time management and organization tends to be my area. Right. And so I know you said not to be inspired, but I am inspired a bit by the way that you can focus your time. And I appreciate that. And you sharing that. Please share your slides with me. I know you said you would. Please share them, because I'd love to share them in the team pages. I know Jessie would for her team as well. And so, yeah, but thank you so much for being on tonight. And if anybody else has any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to pray for us real quick. Jillian, I do that on my team calls. Jessie and I've talked about that. We're cool with it. If you want to stay on, guys, feel free to do so. If you got a jet, no big deal at all. You're loved. But I'm going to pray for us tonight. Okay. Father God, I thank you so much for Jillian taking her time tonight to be on this call, to share her wisdom with us, and just all of the things that she's been able to work through in this business in the last 5 years. And I just pray for blessing over her and for her time. And I also pray for just our teams tonight. I pray that we would just be diligent with what we just learned, and that we would apply it. I pray that we would be able to really focus in this week and the rest of the year, that we'd really be able to take our businesses captive and really give it our absolute best, and not just going through the day-to-day basics without really any intention. I pray that we'd look at these lists and really focus on what we want out of this, and then go for it, and be okay with missing goals and setting intentions to just keep pushing forward in every sense of that. And so, God, I pray for protection over us, and I pray that everybody would really give what they can 100% when they can. And I pray for a blessing. I pray that you would use us each day, and that we would just be a light. In your name, amen. Amen. All right. If you